As you know, we've been having interviews through the last 2 or 3 months now with different, mainly members of St Matthew's Church, who are in different frontline roles. And it's been really fascinating to hear about people's life stories, their jobs, and how life has changed in the last few months. And I'm delighted today to say, well, something slightly different, but we have Diane Faichney with us. And Diane is not a member of St Matthew's Church, but she is a very good friend of St Matthew's. We do a lot of work together, and Diane has done amazing stuff for many, many years with others at Bell Farm Christian Centre to serve people in Useley and West Drayton. So welcome, Diane. It's great to see you. Thanks for agreeing to be interviewed today.
That's fine. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. So Diane's actually wearing 2 hats, as it were, for this interview today. First of all, Diane's the manager of the Doorway Advice, Information and Care Service, which is based at Bell Farm and also runs twice weekly surgeries in St Matthew's, where she works with Mannery. And also Diane is Chair of Trustees of Useley and West Drayton Food Bank, which again operates at Bell Farm and at St Matthew's, and usually also operates at the Living Room down in Cowley with Crown Church. So Diane, thinking about both of those roles, can you just give us a bit of an idea of what those roles entail in normal times, how through those roles you and the organisation serve local people, and what it is you enjoy about doing these jobs?
Okay, so let's start with Doorway. Doorway, as many people know, is an advice centre where we offer support, advocacy for people who may have problems with a variety of things. It could be homelessness, debt problems, they have benefit problems, anything and everything, to be honest. We have run Doorway for over 20 years. And I think for the last, I don't know, maybe 4 years, it's been down at St Matthew's, is it? It's been
4 years.
Yeah. Well, basically, it's just been there for anybody from the community to come in who's in need of any sort of support or help. We have a real range of people come in. We have, for example, over last year, the stats, I think we served about 1,400 people who's coming just to the drop-ins from both at Bell Farm and St Matthew's. But actually, with including beneficiaries, you're up to about 3,000 who's benefited from the service of Doorway. So we do a range of things and work with many people to make sure we get the best results for the clients. We're very holistic at Doorway Advice Centre. We will work with the client for a long time if we have to, giving them, holding their hands and supporting them through many things. Doorway, the food bank, it actually works great along the Doorway, because one of the things we found over the years was people were coming in who were desperate for things like food, particularly if the benefits had been cut or sanctioned. They were in need of food, and as an organisation, we were just giving food away ourselves from the Bell Farm Christian Centre, and I believe even St Matthew's have been giving away food over the years. But as the need grew and got greater, we just seen a real need to have a food bank to meet the needs of the people within the UB7 area. Thus, the food bank was launched officially in 2017, made up of the local churches. So the food bank is made up of all the local churches, and St Matthew's being one of them. And we have a trustee from each church that makes up, the group of trustees for it. But it's great because they work hand in hand. So the client comes into Doorway whose benefits have been cut. Not only can we offer them the service where we can help get the benefits reinstated, we can also ensure that during that period that they've got food. And we're able to give that out through St Matthew's and through Bell Farm, being the main places where it comes from. But yeah, and it's run by a group of wonderful volunteers, so we couldn't do it without a whole group of people. And the same with Doorway. We have volunteers that help with Doorway. So yeah, that's how Doorway runs and Food Bank run hand in hand together.
Wonderful. So what do you particularly enjoy about those two roles?
Do you know, I love that people come in and actually, after working with them, their lives can be transformed. And it's not that we're anything special, it's just by the grace of God that He's put the church in the position, the church in the area in position to be able to do that, isn't it? I believe that the church in the UB7 area are the hands and feet of Jesus here on earth, meeting the needs of those who are hungry, those who are alone, those who are fearful. And I've had clients come in absolutely broken, and after a session going out with a smile on their face saying, I can sleep tonight, just through a session at Doorway here or down at St Matthew's, and through the food bank. People just being able to sleep because they know they can feed themselves, or their issue that they're dealing with is going to be solved. And it is lovely to see lives transformed through these roles that we can do. Yeah.
How wonderful. I so agree with you. So tell me, how has life changed in the work of Doorway and Food Bank since the pandemic hit? And also, how's life changed for you at home at the same time?
Okay, so when the pandemic first hit, we had to establish what we were going to do with Food Bank and with Doorway. Now, the needs weren't going to get any less. They were, if anything, it was going to get greater because of people being furloughed from work and, you know, just not knowing what they were doing. So the Food Bank, what we had to do with that is keep it open, but in a different way. A lot of the volunteers, particularly at St Matthew's, and actually all of my volunteers, had to self-isolate because a lot of them, very dedicated people, had either underlying health issues or they were slightly older. So it was safer for them not to come into Food Bank. So the trustees of the Food Bank got together and decided how we would still deliver the service, but in a different way. So whereas before, people would come in, sit down, have a chat, have a cup of tea, and then be able to leave with their food, we actually started pre-packing the bags so that when people turned up, they can just come in with the voucher or go into the advice centre down at St Matthew's, which was still working, but because they had the space, they were still able to do it at a good distance. So they would go into St Matthew's. Manoray, who works in Doorway down there, would give a voucher. They can just go straight into Food Bank, hand the voucher over and be given their food. So it was safe because they didn't have to wait. There was no hanging around. At Bell Farm, what we've done is to still continue Doorway, but actually because we have a double set of doors, one client at a time could still come in, where there was a barrier up to separate us, where they could still be seen about whatever issue they're coming in with, or we do telephone advice. So everybody, you know, it's been advertised, we're doing it over the telephone. So we're still seeing clients in that way. And then again, with the Food Bank, they would come in, we can either issue a voucher through Doorway or they've already got one and the food's already pre-packed and made up. So it's changed in a big way, but we're still just as busy in both the Doorway and in the Food Bank. Even more so in Food Bank. It's risen substantially. I think 80% is up, and we think it will go 100% uptake within a couple of months. So it has changed. It's still very, very busy. We will say that people have been great. We have a new group of volunteers who's come in who have often they've been at work, they've been furloughed, so they've been able to come in and volunteers. So we've still done well with volunteers, but all safe, all at a distance to make sure everybody's still safe. So yeah, it has changed. But
what about home life?
Home life, well, actually at my home, I have, my grandchildren live with me and my daughter lives with me, so my house is chaotic all the time. The difference is my daughter works from home. She's a police officer and she works from home. now. My grandchildren are at home. Do you know what? It's just they're all at home all the time. They've all stayed very safe, haven't went far. I'm still out at work every single day. It doesn't make much difference to me because I'm still out coming into work every single day. So I don't feel at home it's any different for me. The strange thing is not being able to go many places. But we've got big gardens, so we do lots of fun things in the garden. So yeah, it hasn't changed that much at home.
And through this period, what have you found the most difficult?
I think what I find difficult, and it's particularly more at work, that I've had clients in who, again, there's a bit of a distance that I would like to do a lot more with, but because of restraints, you can't. You know, where clients you would normally have in your office and you can sit for a long time with them and work lots of things through. We don't have that luxury at the moment to be able to do that. And it's harder to, you know, in our role, particularly in doorway, to be able to get hold of anybody. So agencies and councils and all that, whereas before we can just get right through, it is so hard to get through to anybody now, which it makes our job quite frustrating.
Many of them are working from home as well, aren't they?
Hmm?
Many of them are working from home as well.
Right, yeah, they are. They are working at home. But the problem is the client situations don't get any better because people's, you know, they still need answers or they still need help to get their issues resolved for their own mental health and well-being. So I do find that quite hard, and not being able to give as much help as we normally would be able to.
Lots of people say this has been a very, very difficult time, but within it, there have been some things they've also enjoyed or valued. Does it mean anything for you?
What I have loved is that massive community come together on this, believe it or not. We have had people from the community wanting to help, want to volunteer, wanting to donate, businesses wanting to donate all of a sudden that weren't before, chemists down Swan Road constantly selling face masks and donating all the money to Food Bank, and other organisations. Places like Hasbro donating hundreds of toys that we could give to children in lockdown, and all the community just saying, what can we do to help? That has been wonderful, and I think that will have a lasting effect in the future, where all the community has been coming together to help, to make sure things are in place to help organisations like ourselves. You know, particularly in the food bank, it's been absolutely overwhelming and wonderful that the help that people have wanted to offer and want to give, and I think it'll carry on in the future.
Wonderful to hear. So tell me, are there particular things you would like us to pray for, perhaps in relation to things that you see coming up as this goes on for our community? What would you like to encourage us to pray?
Yeah, I can see the next stage, I believe, and I can see is quite a lot of people will be losing their jobs. And I can see that there are going to be more and more people needing to come to food banks, more and more people needing help and support. But what the main thing that I've been feeling is that I think people's mental health has been affected. And I know that because we're getting phone calls through from people really distressed mentally because of what's going on. And I think we need to be praying that people are raised up who actually have got the skills to deal with people with mental health issues. We also will need continued prayer for Doorway. You know, since we've got such a wide audience, ongoing funding for places like Doorway to remain open, I would ask that people pray for that. And the right person for the food bank that we were hoping to appoint in the future as a manager would be great as well. So that's three things really: Doorway, the food bank, and people with mental health issues. That people can start to think about, you know, this is going to have effect on people's mental health. And just a freebie to throw in there for anybody who has time and wants to do something, there is a free mental health course that you can access, mental ed first aid. And the government set it up if you want to access that. And if anybody wants to access it, I can give the details to Richard of how to link into it.
that'd be really helpful. We could happily circulate that. That'd be really good.
Yeah, and people might want to do it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful to hear from you. Right from when I came to St Matthew's and I looked at all that was going on at Bell Farm to serve the community, and I thought, I want St Matthew's to be more like that. So what you've done over many, many years, and others with you, has been an inspiration to us at St Matthew's, and it's been wonderful that we've been able to develop working links over the last few years. We've learned from you, and we've together been able to serve our community.
No, you're welcome.
So it's been really good. So Matthews, listen to those prayers, and please do continue to pray for Diane, all those at Bell Farm, all those at Doorway, and all those at Food Bank. And God bless all you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.